Hello and welcome to our Saturdays with Tara Hangout on Air. I'm Mary Beth and you are at the Law of Attraction Club on the web at theloaclub.com. Our Saturday Hangouts on Air are our introduction to the theme for the week. You will see a link on your screen for our subscription page to get invites to our free guest member calls, which we offer once a month or so. Saturdays, Robin channels Tara, Thursdays, Rachel, and Tuesdays, I channel Tara as well. So you're welcome to join us for those calls. See the link on your screen. We're going to welcome Robin and Tara now, so over to you.
Welcome to our discussion on making new choices. Not choices within the same old options that exist in that world you've already created, but breakout choices that change your world and your life. We want to talk to you about how seldom some of you make those choices. We want to talk about how some of you feel powerless to truly change things. We want to point you towards the yellow brick road, the no struggle road to where you want to be. We want you to understand who you are and the power that you have. We want you to rediscover the joy of living the life you want to live, the one you came here to live. Words are our vehicle here. And of course, we know that using finite words as we talk about infinite concepts means by definition that we are, to some extent, approximating things. We suggest you just recognize that, but don't let it hold you apart from what you want to personally and individually understand. We encourage you right now to take a short time out and set yourself an intention to have these next few minutes here be the time and space where you move to a new vantage point, where you gain a new perspective. Choose to hold this intersection between our worlds as designed by you and for you, because in truth, that's exactly what it is. For the next few minutes, we encourage you to move from listen-only mode to consciously flowing with us. Good. Let's proceed. We'll begin, as always, by declaring who you are. You cannot change who you are at your essence. And it's worth knowing what you can't change, because then it's very clear what you can change, which is everything else. Then we're going to say, what's your language? Because what you say both betrays your beliefs and serves to reinforce your beliefs. And we want you to recognize those belief habits of yours that are containing you. Then we're going to challenge you to get into the nuts and bolts of making profoundly new choices and breaking out into a new world and a new life, into new adventures and exciting possibilities. So who are you? Here are some of our words. We like to say you're a consciousness, and that's a pretty good way of describing you. You're an extension of the collective consciousness of all that is. We could say you're a flowing, ever-changing swirl of energy, indivisible from the energy of Source. And you and we and every entity that is or ever was remain always as connected extensions of that Source. You are born out of your desires and intentions. What you choose to believe and expect creates both you and the matching realm that surrounds you. It is your context. By what you call the law of attraction, it is simply a reflection back to you of those choices you've made. You cannot change who you are at your essence. Everything else about you can change. Let's be clear about that. By everything, we mean everything. And yet, as soon as we say that, we find that many of you immediately scale that back to just some of the options you have. The literal truth is that there's nothing you cannot be, do, or have. Beyond who you are at your core, there's nothing you cannot change. The only thing that prevents you from changing any particular thing is that you choose to believe something about it, and then you practice thinking about it that way until you lock it into place as a certainty. Watch your language, and you'll hear things like this. Some people can pivot away from negative feelings, but I can't. Meditation, letting go, releasing, visualizing, doesn't work for me. Whenever that particular person does some particular thing, I always react badly. I'm an early mornings, late night person. I've messed up my life so far and there's no way of undoing that. It takes years of work to be able to create some particular thing. We all need to rally together to save the world, bring peace, help the homeless. If I can just find my true purpose in life, things will be different for me. If I can just get over there, past this, push through this, then I'll be happy. These words, of course, indicate the underlying belief being held. So what's a belief? Simply this. A belief is a habit of thought. Period. That's it. Even those so-called core beliefs of yours are choices you made way back when and practiced into your tapestry of expectations. Let's pick this apart a little here and see if we can help you find a new way to see those beliefs of yours for what they are. Most of them are serving you well. And when we encourage you to make new choices, we don't mean about everything, although you could. We mean just the ones that are holding you back from where you want to be. So we challenge you here to think of something you're not at choice about. Let your mind go wild here. Think about aging, being born, the sun rising in the east, who you are, how old you are, time, gravity, extraterrestrials, atoms and molecules, the price of eggs, your next paycheck, global warming. You can see where we're asking you to go, to everything, except the absolutes of who you are at your essence. You have beliefs and expectations about all of those things. And it is those beliefs, and only those beliefs, that attract the matching context that appears around you. Let's take, say, aging as an example. Think about everything you know about it. In your world, whatever aging looks like, it's a process defined by those beliefs of yours. It's not just the way things are, and it's nothing to do with what anybody else thinks about it. If you didn't know about it, it wouldn't exist. Now, you may choose to read and discover something new about your world within the range of possibilities you've set. And you may, as a result, choose to believe that new something. All that means is you have now colored in some more of the details in that world of yours. But until you do that, those details do not exist. You do not share a one world with everybody else. You can think of it this way, and if you do, you'll be getting close to it. In every moment, nothing exists beyond the range of your senses. If somebody walks out of the room you're in, they cease to exist. If they walk back into the room an hour later, it's because you're recreating them in your world at that moment. Are they the same person that walked out an hour ago? To the extent that you believe they won't have changed, yes. To the extent that you, in that hour, choose to believe and expect that they will be different, they will be different. The only reason anything seems the same today as it was yesterday is the sameness of your belief. Now, as we said before, there's never any particular thing you need to change. We just want you to really get how powerful you are. And we're not suggesting that you have to keep focusing on changing things. You're here, after all, to enjoy the game. Here's what we are suggesting. Now that you know the extent of what's under your personal control, let's hear it again, everything except those absolutes, we're encouraging you to develop an ongoing and ever-present awareness of who you are. Be in the stands at the same time as you are on the field. Start to catch yourself making those declarative statements and begin to soften them. Give yourself some wiggle room. Choose differently. For example, instead of some people can pivot away from negative feelings, but I can't, feel the difference of these words. Some people pivot away easily from negative feelings, and so I know it's possible for me. I've declared myself into a place that's not the true me. And with these new words and new thoughts, I'm beginning to declare myself into a new improved version. There's nothing I cannot be, do, or have, and nothing I cannot change. And I'm starting to see this world of mine from the awareness of that truth. So what are you saying? And why on earth would you declare yourself as powerless? Watch your language, and you'll see how it is that you're perpetuating those difficulties and problems. Start now. We've often said the better it gets, the better it gets. This new way of creative thinking can be really habit-forming if you'll just give it a chance to develop. As you stick with it, allow yourself to appreciate the little differences you can make. A little difference here and a little difference there, and soon you've stepped confidently into the role you came here to play. There's no single thing in heaven or earth you cannot change, because you're creating heaven and earth and everything in both of those places. Think about this. How many times today have you made a significant new choice about your world? How many times this week have you pivoted away from an automatic reaction to something and chosen to think differently? It takes some focus. But can you see that knowing about the law of attraction doesn't help you to create the life you want? If you allow yourself to persistently fall back into those old declarations, you are sort of saying, yes, I know how it works, but let me just stick with these old thought patterns. You can do better than that. You can choose how to think, or you can think by default. Default thinking means either one thought just follows another, you're on a pre-programmed train of thought, or you're reacting automatically to circumstances. Once again, a pre-programmed response. How much of your thinking is default? What you think is always a choice you can make consciously. Therefore, the direction you're heading can always be a conscious choice. What are the things you want? Some of them are things you think about. Some of them are things you've thought about in that so-called past of yours, but maybe not recently. Some you've never thought about, but are in line with or extensions of the things you've already decided about. Many are just a plain function of who you are, a fun-loving, freedom-loving, connection-loving creature at your core. You always know what to change by how you feel. Start with some simple things. Resolve to think last thing every night or first thing every morning about the day ahead. What do you expect? What would you like to expect? And if those old doubts emerge, see them for what they are. And just the act of seeing them clearly begins their inevitable decline. Here's a simple thing you can do. Whenever you feel bad, stop, rethink. Whenever you feel bad, stop, rethink. Whenever you feel bad, stop, rethink. Does that mean you cold turkey just quit all your must-dos and should-dos? It depends. Everything depends on what you think. But let's look at one possible scenario. You have a job. It's not a job you enjoy, and you'd like to quit, but it pays the bills. Going to work doesn't feel good. Quitting doesn't feel good. So what do? Well, firstly, as we often say, we do not advocate the jump and the parachute will appear approach. So we're not suggesting that you quit the job. Here's what you do. And the process applies, of course, to any of your blockages. What is there about your job that you like? There's the money, of course, but there will be other things. Some of the people you interact with perhaps are fun. Maybe the drive there is relaxing. Maybe the cafeteria food is good. Find the things that are good and start to appreciate them more and more. There's your baseline. From that base, start to image some what-ifs in the upward direction. What if the job changed to be more of this or that? Let yourself start to imagine life as you want it to be. And here's what will result. Either the job will change or you'll change jobs. Whichever it is, it will fall easily into place. No stress, no leaping, and no parachutes required. There is no circumstance of your life that locks you into feeling bad. Feeling bad is a choice. There's always a way out, or more accurately, there are always a million ways that are effortless and fun to get out of any hole you've dug for yourself. It's not a matter of doing things or trying to force things. If it doesn't feel good, you're going in the wrong direction. It's a matter of consciously choosing that better feeling thought. It's a matter of being smart about it, using this knowledge you've gained and consciously choosing to create what you want. As we move into our longer discussion, once again we encourage you to watch your language. When you catch yourself making declarative statements, stop. Rephrase. Rephrase that statement in your mind, because then not only are you pre-paving your life more positively, you've stopped the insidious process of over and over again reinforcing that same old limiting belief. Say to yourself something like this: I've declared myself into a place that's not the true me. And with these new words and new thoughts, I'm beginning to declare myself into a new improved version. There's nothing I cannot be, do, or have, and nothing I cannot change. And I'm starting to see this world of mine from the awareness of that truth. Can you see that the more you become aware of how you feel, moment by moment, day by day, and begin to approach this creation process deliberately and confidently, and the more you stop practicing that which limits you and start practicing that which energizes you, the more you will find new doorways appearing that you never knew existed. They are right there in front of you, but you cannot see them unless you start to feel good. It's not you'll feel good when you get there. It's you get there when you choose that which feels good. Good about you, about life, about everything. As you step into the powerful you came here to be, resistance falls away. And as always, we are here to dance with you.
This Hangout on Air was our introduction to the theme for the week. If you're a guest member, you already get invites to our free open calls. If you're on the Hangout or you're watching the Hangout on Air recording, you can get invites to our extended free open calls with questions and answers by becoming a guest member. See the link on your screen. And if you'd really like to get this down deep and come to 3 calls a week, live and or have access to the recordings, you can become a member. See the pop-ups on your screen.